everybody.
Sup? How are you guys?
This is Philosophy Time with SpongeBob.
Oh yeah, SpongeBob.
And a unicorn. We brought a unicorn today. This will be our special guest, Mrs. Cuddles. She is very affluent in the language of cuddling. She also is a rainbow unicorn.
Rainbow.
Bonus.
Unicorn.
So Devin, we have a very particular question that arises from one of my personal favorite TV shows, a great childhood show for many a kid. I recommend it to all. The show is SpongeBob. And as you'll see in the clip, this episode highlights a question of man. And is he an animal? Is he different than an animal? What is the differences, if there are some?
What are the characteristics of a human? If there is a difference, what makes humans and what makes animals animals? So
SpongeBob somewhat hints at this question. He doesn't truly explore it, but he hints at it with a somewhat estranged, angry expression toward his dearly beloved friend Patrick. However, in this series, they are animals. SpongeBob is a sea sponge, an animal, and Patrick is a sea star, an animal. Granted, we're using animals to talk about humans, but in this case, there's something that makes SpongeBob and Patrick different from the average sponge and star.
I would say so. And that's kind of where we're going to explore what makes them different.
Just get out of here, you stupid, dumb animal!
Interesting. Don't you think?
I would agree. Very, very interesting.
Stupid, dumb animal. So, that's the words he uses.
Yes. What would you say, Devin? Well, we understand that SpongeBob was angry. That's why he insulted his friend, not knowing that it was actually Patrick. What is the difference between Patrick, a sea star, and the animal SpongeBob thought that he was?
From what I can tell, and kind of what I believe, is he showed human characteristics, and these characteristics distinguish you from an animal in that he has feelings, he is kind, wants certain things, and can make choices, which I would say is the definition of a human. And an animal would not have these characteristics, so the definition of an animal could be, in that way, defined. Do you want to add upon that?
Animals have wants, don't they? They want
do.
Food. They need food. A dog would like to eat steak and meat. It has wants. Would that not be a characteristic?
It would be characteristic of human and animals. That's one of those things that I would say yes, it would be in both.
So, then would we be able to surmise that there's something more to a human than there is to an animal? I would
say that the way animals react is very instinctive, in that instinct is something that we can see and that's repeated. Like, it's not random, let's say. So it's almost like you could compare it to a program or a robot doing the same thing it's always been told to do. While humans can be told one thing always, and they may do it repeatedly to the point where people think it's an instinct, but they can choose to not do it, to go the opposite of whatever that instinct is. So the instinct I want to eat, well, you can choose to not eat as a human. That's the difference.
So then, the difference between humans and animals is somewhat of a cognitive choosing, you would say? A rationale behind why they do things?
I would say so, yeah.
So, one definition we could apply to humans is it has the same physical characteristics of animals, right? It's got flesh. It has limitations. It wears out. It needs food. Needs water. Could we define humans as a rational animal? Would that be too far?
You could, in a sense, but then an animal, it would no longer be an animal. It would become a human, which is where SpongeBob and Patrick differ from the normal star and fish, in that they have taken that step and become rational, I guess you could say rational animals, and are no longer animals, they're rational animals, which is defined as a human. So.
This is very inquisitive. I do so enjoy this. One question I might also pose, on the opposite side of the argument, is if my dog were to realize that he could sneak into the kitchen, he could paw his way to open a little door, and he could get into the treats. That's a rational thought process, is it not? He wants the food. He remembers where the food is. He works his way to the food. He gets to the food. Would you say that is a rational thought process? Or how can we better define rational?
I'd say that would be different in the way that you describe it. Let's say, okay, so animals, it's not that they have two different outcomes. I guess you could say two different things they could choose, two different paths. It's more like this happens, if this, then this, they do this. So if hungry, then look for food. If food found, then eat the food. And they have other instincts built into them, a lot of them survival based. If, sense danger, being that be some unknown other being, run away. That's another idea of an instinct. While humans don't have that necessarily. They have this, they have if this, then this or that. They have if hungry, then eat or don't eat. And that's if they can, obviously animals, if they have food. If they don't have food, obviously they can't eat. But that's if there's food, then eat it kind of thing. But that's, you understand what I'm going with that.
Yes, I do. So, the rational part of a human comes from that they are given choices and they decide.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not based solely on instinct or, for animals, a physical need.
Yeah.
The physical need to drink, to eat.
Yes.
To sleep. Animals, when they are tired, of their own accord, will sleep.
Unless they're in danger.
Unless they're in danger, yes. If certain things are in place, such as there's peace and they don't need to run for their lives from a wild bear, something crazy, Or, as in the case of Mrs. Cuddles, a unicorn having to run from a vicious coyote or pack of mountain lions, She doesn't need to do that. She's just a unicorn. She's free.
Yes.
So, animals, of their own accord, will sleep if they're tired. While humans are all crazy, and they can decide to stay up, to work, to go to parties, to do whatever. They can decide, against their physical need to sleep, to do things.
Yes. Yep.
Do you ever stay up when you should be sleeping?
Yes.
What do you do when you stay up?
Usually playing video games.
Alright. Well, this concludes this week's Philosophy with SpongeBob. I'm Nathan,
I'm Devin.
and we will see you in another episode. What kind of music?
Depends on the day.
Why do you play video games?
Because I want to.
Do you devote too much time to video
Where are you
games?
going with this? This has nothing to do with it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
We're talking on rational logic here. Do you devote too much time to your video game habits?
No?
Is it becoming a problem?
No?